Hey everybody. So I have started working on persisting life values in the morning and it's now the afternoon and we're going to finish this up. So we made a regeneration system here and it's set to just restore half a life or whatever that is, 5% of 1 HP every frame, and it can't work that way. So we need to keep track of things properly. So this is going to be regeneration component. And we don't actually need to store anything in here, or not take in anything in the constructor. But we do need to keep track of when you last regenerated. And I'm going to do this the same way we did with here. There's a cooldown, and when the cooldown hits 0, then we are able to regenerate. So I'm going to do it the same way. We're going to have a public float cooldown, and then a public float like regeneration percent. Regen percent. There we go. We're going to start the regen percent at probably 1 and start the cooldown at also probably 1. Maybe we have like a public const float cooldown reset equals 1 in seconds. There we go. Hey, Blob. So cooldown is going to be set to cooldown reset, although this doesn't really matter. And then we need some kind of update thing for this. So update cooldown. Yeah. This takes in delta. Time elapsed. Oh, I see. Time elapsed goes up. And then we figure out when we want this thing to reset. I'll just call this time until regen equals cooldown reset in seconds. And so time until regen minus equal delta. If time until regen is less than... Actually, we don't even need to do this stuff. Yeah. We don't need to do this stuff. We can just store the data here. And I don't think this should be serializable. Do you like the really expensive hello in chat, Blob? So technically this should track entities with regeneration components, but effectively it's just adventurers. Oh, that's real wealth right there. Hey, Darkstorm. Still too cheap. How many points do you have, Blub? I just keep refunding them every time I feel like it. So I don't know how many points people could even have. 303,000. Wow. Yeah, 112,000 for Wario. Okay. Well, you guys have a lot of points. So each entity, if we're in battle, we don't do anything. Then we get their regeneration component. If time until regen is greater than or equals 0, we could just say, we could have like an update public bool update should regen or update regen. Thought you tapped out for lunch. No, I just left for a little bit for lunch. That's all. Yeah. Hey, Rambling Geek. So double delta, same thing with this. So if time until regen is less or is greater than 0, return false. Otherwise, set it to the cooldown and return true. Yeah, I like this. That way we can just say update with delta. Oh, wait, we need the delta. Where's the delta? Delta. Delta. There we go. So in this case, we are going to get their health component. We're going to regenerate them by a percentage. The percentage is going to be pulled from here. Excuse me. So we'll say, we'll make a public void reset. Regen percent equals 1. And time until regen is cooldown reset. Yeah. I think that's good. And then the amount this increases per level or per tick is going to be just 1%, I guess. Yeah, so regen percent plus equal 0.01f. In fact, let's start this at 0. Why not? And then heal needs to be a heal percent. Do we have a heal percent? Nope. Okay, well, let's make one. Public void heal percent life float percent. Max life times percent. Yeah, nice. Thanks, AI. So now we just call this with rc.percent. And that's that. I think that should work. We do need to reset this at some point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so the bats do a ton of damage. All enemy data, bat, you do 30 damage. Actually, 100. Yeah, do 100 damage. So this will knock us out in 2 hits. And then we should see our life regenerate over the course of 14 seconds, I believe. So there's 1 hit, 2 hits, and now we count to 14. It's not working. We count to infinity. Oh, I never added a regeneration component. That's right. That would be pretty important to do. So I guess Adventurer should just get it by default. Probably even in init we added. ECS.add component. This new regen component. Cool. And the constructor for this can set these things to what they should be, which it's already set that way. Yeah, nice. That should work. Okay, let's try that again. Start battle. Just zoom in on this thing. So the battle's done. Now every 1 second it should go up. 1%, then 2%, then 3%. It does not look like that's working. Oh, wait, it is working. Why did that seem to take so long? I guess because 1, 2, and 3% are all basically 0 life. We're talking about a life value of 155. So even 5% of that is 8 life. And what did we say? There's like 46 pixels. So 1 divided by 46 times 155. So we need to heal at least 4 life for us to see a change. Or something like that. Maybe 2 life, because it would round up. But I think it's working the way I want it to work. Also, we could just print this out. Regenerating this times 100 plus percent health. There. And then once you get to maximum life, it's still going to try regenerating, but I don't see that as being a problem. All right, we're going to speed this up, and we're going to just look at the console. 2, 3, 4, 4.9999999. I don't think this is correct. Yeah, I don't think that's right. Something definitely seems wrong. RC.regen percent. This is automatically going up. Max life times percent. Yeah, I don't think anything could be wrong about that. Let's just have it print how much it's actually healing. Healing that much life. I think something else might have happened that was wrong too, which is... Okay, it looks like that part's okay. Gotta wait for this battle to be finished. There we go. Maybe it's correct. I'm just not looking at this right. Yeah, maybe it's correct. Okay, well, the next thing we need to do is make sure it resets when you finish a battle. So we go to battle system. We look at corresponds to adventurer. Take adventurers out of battle. I guess when we take them out of battle, we can also reset. Get the regen component. Feels strange to get stronger over time. I guess it could be static. Yeah, I'll think about that. Let me do this first. Regeneration component. Why is this not? Oh, it's just called reset. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'll think about that. So start a battle. Yeah, I think it would make more sense to do it that way. Okay, so we're generating 1%, 3%. Yeah, like I don't see this increasing at all. Yeah, there's got to be a problem here. Oh, I know why. Because you can go to negative life. That's why. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, so then at the end of a battle, we should set you back to 1 health, not at the beginning of a battle. Yeah. Yeah, you're deader than dead. What's deader than being dead? Ice cold. Health component. Adventurer. So we need to set the life to a minimum. Let's just get the health component. hc.life equals. Actually, let's just make a function in the health component that does this. Like a revive if dead. If the number 1 shows up in this file, no, it does not. Okay, so then we'll make it now. Public void revive if dead. If is dead, life equals 1. And is dead is just less than or equal to 0. Yeah, good. Thought we had a clamp so it doesn't go below 0. We don't. Because we just have life minus equal damage. That's it. Okay, now the battle system should apply this here. Revive if dead. And then we need to do it math.min or math.max 1. This, yep. Health component dot revive if dead. Make sure they're alive if they're going to battle. If you can go below 0, can you also gain above max? No. The gain above max is something that would have to be some kind of special ability. The going below 0 is currently not functionally important. If we just stopped you at 0, it'd also be okay. But either way, it pointed out a problem, which is that you should be revived at the end. Well, I guess it didn't either way point out a problem. I guess it was only a problem if you go really low. So yeah, now we're going to go to negative 45 or something. And now we should see this rise the way I had planned. But then I think we should apply what War Eagle was saying. Yeah, so you can see it is slowly regenerating more and more. So this kind of punishes you a little bit for being at a little bit of lost life. So if you think about this, let's say you just consider life to be a percentage. So you heal 1%, 2%, 3%, and so on, which means that total time to go from dead to full is about 14 ticks. But it also means if you were at 90%, so you hardly took any damage, you still need 4 ticks to go to full. But you hardly took any damage. So maybe we should change it. So we could just say you get 7% per tick. And that still averages out to about 14 ticks. And that way, when you're at nearly full life, it only takes you 1.5 ticks. I think that could be a good idea. So yeah, I think it's a good suggestion, War Eagle. If they die, the player just respawns. Yeah. Wait it is an option? What do you mean? You mean do what we were doing earlier, just not as extreme? Because I guess that's another thing we could do is like it starts at 6%, goes to 6.2%, goes to 6.4%. But that's so minor, I don't think it's probably worth doing. So the amount that you'll regenerate will be always set to the same amount. So we'll set this to 0.07. The player is at less life percentage more life goes slower. Oh, so it always works out to the same amount of time generally? I think if you look at this system just from the 1,000-foot view, it's like, what does this accomplish? So one is, it's the only way to heal. So it allows you to battle. But what are we incentivizing or disincentivizing? And we want to incentivize that you survive with a lot of life. Definitely, thanks for the resub. And the way you incentivize this is you say that when you haven't lost much life, you have a shorter regen time. Yeah, and that means that you have a static heal percent per tick. Now we have a new player-wide skill, greater regen. Yeah, we could do that. And we could set it so that instead of being 7% healing, it goes to like 21% healing or something like that. So instead of 14 ticks, it goes down to like 4-ish ticks. We can't lower this too much though. In fact, maybe cutting from 14 down to 7 is as good as we allow. But that's something we'll figure out during testing. So this is now 7%, just flat 7%. Let's go try that. In fact, it should just automatically work. If I just repeat the battle, in fact, let me do the hot reload thing over here there. Okay, so now it should go up by 7% per tick. It did not. I gotta just turn off hot reloading. I don't know when this works and when this doesn't work. Yeah, so confusing. Haven't had a chance to play. Yeah, thank you, Zaphoid. We got some really good feedback. That's what we're addressing. Yeah, cool. So now you regenerate 7% per tick. We should probably animate this life bar. Yeah. And then you can repeat the battle and you'll be at full. Of course, you'll just die again. You could repeat it even when you're not at full. And you'll still die. But if we level up the adventurer a bunch of times, then you might be able to win. Probably not at this amount. But another few level ups and you could. Oh no, you can. Yeah, even here. Wow, taking 100 damage and hardly seeing it do anything. Okay, I like it. Yeah, I like it. There is something kind of interesting, which is I said auto battle has a minimum time of 10 seconds. So if you can full heal in that time, then it's like there wasn't any regeneration at all, I guess. I don't want to make this take even longer though. Yeah, you can. Well, minimum time. That's for auto battle. I guess you could start whenever you want. Yeah. Never mind. All right. I think this is fine. Let's at least try this out. Gonna cut this out. This. And then I think it's worth writing a comment here. This is a flat percentage rather than an increasing increment so that players are incentivized to end battles with as much health as possible. Yeah, I think that's a good way of saying this. Hey, Avatar. That emote looked like Conan O'Brien from the tiny size that it is. Okay, now let's review the code. I don't know why this stuff keeps changing, but let's close out of this and not deal with that. Town scene, I'm guessing it's the same. No, it's not the same thing. We added the regeneration system. This cannot be maintained. Don't care. Retained, I mean. Regeneration component looks good. This is not good. The other ones are fine. This is good. Yeah. This is also good. Yep, cool. The system is new. Yep, looks good. Adventurer now has a regeneration component, and we init the system, yeah. Cool, so add post-battle regeneration. Good, so that's done. This is done. All right, don't add any special UI inputs for health considerations. Just have auto battle wait 10 seconds and for you to have full life. If 10 seconds have passed and you don't have full life, then say waiting for full life before starting. Okay, there's a problem here. Well, maybe there is no problem. I think this would probably be pretty clear. I don't know. Okay, here's what's happening right now. Like close out all those things. We have. That's probably just better to start this up. Yeah, so we have an auto battle thing. I'm just gonna click win. This timer here. says starting in 6.8 seconds. And right now, that's totally accurate. It's going to start in 6.8 seconds. But in the future, what I wanted to do is I wanted to either, well, not either, I wanted to wait at least 10 seconds and for your adventure to be at full health. So we could do a couple of things here. So the auto battle timer needs to wait at least 10 seconds and for all adventurers to be at full life. So how do we tell the player about both of these things? Yeah, if you know their generation rate, you could set it to the greater of the two. But then the problem is that the player is going to see something like starting in like 16.3 seconds, and they're going to be like, why is that higher now than the other ones? And after, yeah, that's what I'm concerned about, I guess. But that is one of the options. Option number one is compute how long it will take to regen. And if greater than 10, set the timer to that. Option number two would be show a 10-second timer. And if not at full life by the end, say waiting for full health. I think I like option number two. That's what I think I'm leaning toward, because I think that's probably the clearest. Why does it have to wait for 10 seconds? There are a couple of reasons. One is that this is where your loot shows, so you'd be able to see what happened at the end of the battle. And two is now that we have auto regeneration. Actually, I guess auto regeneration, we could have had a different thing. But yeah, it's mostly to have your loot showing and not have it just be like 100% all the time doing battle. I guess the other reason is this. When the battle's done, you might be like, you know what? Let's stop this. And then you just cancel it here. Or you edit your party or something. So I think having the screen show for at least some time is a good idea. What's that flame icon in the debug options? That is hot reloading, and it's not totally working. Wait for regeneration first, then run the 10 seconds. Actually, that's an interesting point too. Wait for regeneration, then run the 10-second timer. I think, though, most of the time, the regeneration will fit within the 10 seconds. Part of this, it's also a game design decision, right? I guess there are two problems here. One, how do you communicate this to the player? But two, if you went with this option, you might have upwards of 24 seconds of waiting. Yeah. I'm concerned that the player may be confused if they see starting in 16.3 seconds instead of starting in 10 seconds. That's a long time. It is a long time, although it's an amount of time you wouldn't generally see until a little later in the game. What do you need to configure to have that? I don't know if my notes made it online for that. I think I only just figured this out yesterday, and I don't think I pushed notes, did I? Let me take a look. GD script. I think I would have written it in here. Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't upload the notes, so I'll have to just paste them to you from here. Where is this? Oh yeah. So for hot reloading to work in VS Code, enable this setting, C# experimental debug hot reload, and then make sure your .NET SDK is high enough. It's got to be more than 8.0.100. Also an extra button to enable waiting. So I wanted to not have any extra UI because if you wanted to start a battle when you're not at full life, you could just click repeat battle. So this would be an option where it's like, okay, I want to auto battle, but I want to start as soon as I hit like 70%. And I just don't think there's a reason for that right now. And then the thing about configuring the 10-second timer is it would change how fast idling goes. And I think that could potentially be a little bit dangerous. Like you just have kind of nonstop battles going if you're always at full life. Yeah. The question that'll come from players, why can't I drink the health potion that's shown on the screen to speed up going back to battle? Well, you might be able to eventually. Who knows? Who knows what kind of crazy things we're going to unlock? I do like seeing the life recharge though here. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with option number 2. And we'll just see what that feels like. All right, so where does that show up? Starting battle in. So here it is. This is the end battle screen. The end battle screen, does it have a reference to adventurers or anything? Nope. So it has no way of knowing. Wait, maybe it does. There's a party container here somewhere. Party section, yeah. So party section could have an event that's emitted when all party members hit full life. Hmm. Yeah. I'm not sure what I want to do exactly. There's get adventurers. I guess we could just do this from here and battle screen. But this is changing the ratio of this. And then what actually starts the battle? Did I make a timer or something? Auto repeat timer. Here it is. Yeah, there's a timeout. Ah, drat. Yeah. This is gonna be a mess if I do this. Okay, there is another option, and it's certainly the easiest option, which is option number 4, just always start after 10 seconds. And if your life is slowly, like, if it's trending towards 0, then it will hit 0 eventually. And then you'll probably lose every battle. It wouldn't be math incoming because of the way I planned on doing this. It would just say waiting for full health. We wouldn't need to compute anything about how much time it's going to take. Hey, Caleb. Hey, Sinistella. It's one of those costs of idling. You get stronger to expand how long you can idle. Well, yeah, with option number 4, I suppose so. Although I do think players would probably say, like, why can't it just wait for me to be at full life? Why should I have to micromanage the idling? Why does the player need to see the regen? So that when they manually start a battle, so like here, for example, if I'm at full life, I could just click repeat battle. They don't need to see how long it's going to take for it to regen, if that's what you mean. Yeah. That's not particularly encouraging advice. All right, I think I'm still leaning toward option number 2 here. Yeah. Also, this is only going to matter until you get the skill that says like double your healing, and then it shouldn't even be possible. Yeah, but just put them back at full right away. Oh. The reason why you're saying, like, why even persist life values? Like, just always start at full. So the reason we did that is because defensive skills are pretty much meaningless as long as you win the battle. So you get to the point where you're like, oh, this battle is going well, so I'm now going to go full on offense. And then it's like, well, just don't ever touch the defensive skills again. So I think that's part of it. I think the other thing is people just kind of expect it. I think enough people have talked about it. The player can select some kind of arena strategy, start when healthy, start after X seconds. Yeah, I don't know why someone would choose not to start when healthy. Because part of the reason you want auto battling is you don't want to micromanage this stuff. And if you lose any life in one battle, then the chances are that your life is going to keep dwindling towards 0. So if you only started when you were at 60% because you wanted to start after some amount of time, then you'd probably end up just losing a bunch of battles. And I think it would decrease player sentiment. Check back in, see the general health, and do something else if it's low. Yeah, I think it should just auto refill you to full. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, the other way we could do this is we could figure out how long it will take your party to regenerate and just write this here. crucials, because if you can finish the whole dungeon with one health pool, that would be faster. So you might prefer that for efficiency. Wait, I'm not sure we're on the same page here. So I guess what I'm saying is what I don't want to do is let players set a time for auto battle and not just wait for full health. And the reason is that if you auto battle, you want to do many battles. And if you don't naturally get to at least the life you started at, you'll eventually die. The main party max is too small for all players, and I'm parking the remaining player in a low-level dungeon, then I run as many battles as possible. But you're not auto-battling for that. I think we're talking about like 3 different things right now in chat, maybe. So what I'm saying is auto-battle is taking the current party at the current location and just redoing that exact fight. So if you have too many characters, auto-battle is not even an option you would use. You would have to just go pick the party you want. This is about running the same dungeon over and over. Yep, exactly. Yeah. And what I'm saying is I don't know when a player would ever not want to be at full life to start that. And what this was born out of is right now there's just a 10-second timer. By the way, a 10-second timer is enough to get 70% life back. So you're guaranteed to start every fight if you just don't touch the game. You're guaranteed to start with at least 70% life. I just, that extra like 4.5 seconds, should we show a timer for that? Should we just say waiting for full life? How often do you even see this happen? I'm actually a little bit more inclined to just, I don't know, go with option number 1. Just figure out how long it'll take to regenerate and then set the timer to that. Could the player get rewarded in some way for starting a lower life? They could, but I don't think it's going to matter much in a game like this. The fact that auto battle exists means that if you get rewarded at all, you could just leave this on and walk away from your computer. So why would you try maximizing how much life you could win at if you could also just get some rewards by just not even putting any thought into it? Anyway, I think this is probably the easiest, so let's just go with that. So we need to figure out what's the total regen time of this. Regeneration component. I guess regeneration component can figure this out. Public. This can return a number of seconds. Float. Get regen, or static float. Get regen time for party. And this needs to take in a list of adventurers. Should run you down over time. If you're new, perhaps you can only have 5 battles run, and then it would stop because your health is too low. It's possible to go that route. So this is more of a game design question, and there's basically like direction A and direction B, and both work. So yeah, you could totally do that. One of the things to consider is that there are healers in the game. So if you do this, because this is where I think this is what's going to make direction B a little clearer than direction A here. If you do this, what you're going to do is you're going to encourage players to max out the number of healers in their party so that they can just walk away from their computer and have it be fully idle. Because that way it negates the problem with your health running down to 0 here. And I don't think that's a good incentive for players to have. If you're guaranteed to regen during the auto battle timer, it's the same as not having the regen at all, no? No, because you might not be auto battling. There are actually 2 differences. One is not auto battling, and 2 is the regen time can take longer than the auto battle time. Yeah. Yeah, so I think, oh, where do you play test number 2? Right here. So yeah, I think we're going to do this. We're just going to make a function for this, and we're going to figure out how much life do you have? How much life do you need? So public static float get regen time for adventurer. Okay, so we need their health component. And then we need their regen component. And then can this just figure out what I want? Time until max life equals the max health minus the current health divided by the max health times the regen percent. So how much life is missing divided by how much life you heal per tick. This is probably correct. Basically a time penalty for getting in the next battle. It's a good incentive to not fall back to easier dungeons for farming, but pushing harder dungeons to clear question challenges. Yeah, I think that's a good way of saying it. It's just a time penalty. Yeah. Auto combat regen time means you can try to optimize the amount of battles per minute. Yeah. So maybe what we could do here, and I'm still torn on this, but maybe we could lower the minimum auto battle timer time from 10 seconds down to like 7 or something. By having it just wait till I can go again gives me no incentive to optimize toward a particular style. I could go for a shorter time where I can get more high level stuff with high level fighters, or spend a longer time getting low level stuff from low level dungeons. The incentive to optimize is maximizing your battles per minute. And I guess the other, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And remember that this is mostly for the idle players. So the idle players probably do care about that. You know, if you go 10% faster just by having this thing heal you. What's the game loop? You should check out the game, I think. I think that's going to give you the easiest insight into what the game loop is. Let's see. Time until max life. Okay, so time until max life. I guess we just return this. And then over here for the whole party, we get the maximum of all of these things. Why do we even do this? We just call get regen time for adventure. Yeah. There we go. I don't play any games, especially auto battlers. No, and like I said, they'd both work, right? They're just different incentives. And I think you start getting into sometimes bad incentives. And I mentioned this before, but the WoW designers knew that some players will do what's best and not the most fun. So if what's best is not fun, then some people will actively play the game in a way that is not fun just because that's the best way to progress. And that's where I think you start getting into like, okay, your incentives are not well aligned. And I don't want people doing things where they're like, look, I just want to idle. I'm going to leave my computer for 60 minutes. So let me just set up a party of full just healers. And that way I get something done rather than needing to come back to my computer every couple of minutes. So again, both work. It's just a different direction. Also a proxy for something like gold per minute. So there's going to be a balancing act with low level dungeons. Yeah. Yep, exactly. And that's where I think having a bunch of different quests and stuff will probably help. But I feel like there's probably still something missing, but we don't know what it is yet until we get the next checkpoint out. What the original point of persistent health was. I think I wrote some notes about it somewhere. So let me just get that, because that way if people ask in the future, I can share it with them. Oh, I think I've deleted it from this document. It'll be in the history at this point. But anyway, someone pointed out that, like, let's say you can win a battle and you get restored to full right after it. Now you probably want to optimize for the speed in which the battle occurs. So you start swapping defensive abilities for offensive abilities. And this on a large enough scale means the defensive abilities just feel worthless. There are other ways you could try to solve that problem. But yeah, I think this would incentivize you to end the battles with more life. I mean, I do see the point of like, why have a minimum time at all then? And yeah, I could see customizing that in like a game settings thing, maybe. Yeah. Let's maybe just lower it. Okay, that's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I know what I'm gonna do here. Let's go figure out where in the world I wrote this thing down. Yeah, we're gonna try lowering minimum auto battle time to something pretty low, like 3S or 4S. Now let's see how that feels. One of the things I would do would be click the repeat battle button constantly, because even if the HP is not maxed, if I can do 5 battles, I'll go for that, because then I'll have to wait for the HP regen anyway. Yeah, the min-maxing while you're active is good. I think it's a good thing. I think it makes you more engaged if you're an active player. But I think when you're a passive player, you would want more of a guarantee. Feels like having no minimum time makes sense. Yeah, I think there are a couple things that are sort of competing here. One is I still want you to be able to see what the loot is. Like imagine if you're streaming this game. Somehow this becomes a really popular stream game. It's like your viewers might still want to know, hey, what happened in the battle? So having some amount of like, okay, here's the summary. You still get to see the effects and hear whatever, fanfare plays. And it's not just like immediately go to the next battle. I think that we need to be on this interstitial screen for some amount of time. Offensive is more fun and faster. So ultimately, I'm always going to be optimizing speed. Yeah, but I think this puts the decision in the hands of the player. And I think that if you are always restored to full, then there's almost less of a decision to make. But we're going to try this out. Maybe it turns out this is a botched experiment and this was a bad idea. In which case, we could always run it back. Do I equip items? Suze, like I said, I think you should check out the game itself so you can see how it plays. Because a lot of these questions are going to be answered, and it'll answer way more questions than I'll answer by just screen. Yeah, you could look at it as a UI problem. I agree. And I think that... I think maybe we eventually get to a state like that. So it's definitely something I should consider. And we'll see what feedback says. I think we'll write this here. If all we want to show the end battle screen for is the loot, then maybe we show it in a battle notification above the instance slot and have it dismiss itself after X seconds. Yeah, I could agree with that, Caleb. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get the regen time for the party, and we're going to set the repeat timer to that. So right now it's set to... Where is it set? Ah, here it is. Auto repeat delay. Where do we use this? Let me set a ratio there. And this is just some constant? Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to add. Right, battle stats. Oh, man. Okay, that's another reason to show the end battle screen. It's going to eventually show you, and actually not even that long from now, maybe in the next week or so. It's going to show you how long the battle took, how much damage you did, and whatever else. I don't know. So, yeah, I think there's a consideration here, and I think we gotta figure this out. We also want to show stats, though. Perhaps the player can configure in the settings the minimum wait time, and otherwise just wait for regeneration. Yeah. Could have the battle area part of the screen stay persistent on the screen even when you tap out of the game. I think the whole game has interesting visuals in terms of what's going on even when you're idle. Like seeing customers come by and buy something. I guess maybe you could have it so the streamer could pick, like, I want the town view showing. Because if you don't see the battles, you could still see like, oh, hey, items just popped into town. I must have just won a battle. And then you could see your characters go pick it up and stock it into a shop. And maybe there could be like some auto camera. Maybe that's how I would do it. Maybe you can put the game into like a tiny window and it just picks what to focus on. So right now it's following the skeleton, and then it switches to, okay, now we're going to watch this battle for a little bit. and then it switches to, you know, some other part of the screen, something like that. All right, so everywhere we start this timer, oh, wait a sec. When you first start the timer, I guess you just kick off the battle if it's ready. This is when we initialize it for the first time. Yeah, so how about this? Let's just make a private void start auto repeat timer. And then call this here start auto repeat timer. And that delay is going to be set based on this. So regeneration component, get regen time for party, party section dot get adventurers, float regen time equals that, set it here. Can you quickly explain how the game save works? Are you just storing the game data in a file? Yeah, that's it. There's just a JSON file somewhere. Unfortunately, I don't remember where it is. But yeah, there's just the JSON file. Eventually, we're probably going to obscure that file a little bit. I'm not super concerned with tampering with game saves because it's a single player game. And I'm really torn on ever adding leaderboards, but leaderboards would be the only reason to even try to make it a little bit difficult. But yeah, the way I see it is if you buy a game, any single player game, you know, Mario even, and you're like, I want to jump 4 times higher than I normally can. If you have the means to do it, by all means, go figure it out. Like maybe it would become a problem if this were a big speed running game or something that you'd want to have some certainty that people are all running the same version, but I don't think this is going to turn into a speedrun game. Okay, so we start this here, but then the problem is that we don't know the ratio of this because we don't know how much time we started with. So we need to keep track of the amount of time that this was running for. Private float auto repeat. What do I call this? Like a, what do I call this? Initial duration. Yeah. So when I made regen time, we're going to set this equal to that and then start this and then get rid of these things. Auto repeat delay. Now this is unused. Yeah, cool. That should work. Okay, so we just did it. I did not set a minimum at all, which means that all we're going to do here is wait until your party members are at full life. So if that happens to take half a second, then it'll only wait for half a second. Now, technically, it can't ever just wait for half a second because the regen time is on a 1 second tick. Oh, static members are supposed to appear first. I mean, this isn't a bug, or it isn't an error. Just a lint warning. Get component. Health component doesn't contain a definition for this. Man, it just made some stuff up. Usually it does a better job at that. Huh. Wait for day one. I don't think this is, like, there are certain games that lend themselves well to speed running. I don't think this would be one of them. Is this just not imported? Yeah. Hooray. Why is there one more error there? What was that? Closing brace should be followed by a blank line. Oh, sure. Will the game allow for more adventurers? Yeah. Yeah. It's just the minimum time to code an adventurer seems to be about a day or a day and a half. So that's why I didn't add more up until now. If they were like an hour, I probably would have added 3 or 4 more. All right, so start a battle. Just speed this up. And now stop it. And so now the timer that we see at the end should be about maybe 7 seconds. There is no timer. Well, that means we broke everything. Interesting. Oh, I don't have auto battle. Oh my god. Okay, let's try now. So we should always be at full life when we start. No, because we need to wait for the ceiling of whatever I just did. Right? Is that right? Time until max life equals this. Return time until max life. This should be. Wait, no, what am I doing wrong here? If you have 100 life, then this is how much life you have missing. So 50, let's say. And then divide by your max life times regeneration percent. So you heal 7 per tick. So 50 divided by 7, 7.14257 or whatever. And then we return this as a float, which then this waits for. Oh, well, we don't know the current amount of... Oh, man. Oh, this is hard. I think I'm just going to add 1 to this. We need to know everyone's cooldown reset, or time until regen. We got to take that into account. God. How do we do that? This is how many ticks it would take. And we need to know how far into a tick we are. How is it extra, though? Okay, let me think about this. Let's just come up with some easy values here. Max life is 100. Life is 93. Regen percent is 0.07. And time until regen is 0.5. So this should take 1 tick. And since we are halfway into a tick, it should actually be half of a tick. So this is how many seconds we have to wait. So it's actually this minus time until regen. It might not actually be. All right, let's say time until regen was this 0.0, 0.1. No, it's not this then. We need to subtract 0.9 from this. So we need cooldown minus that. Yeah, that's how this should work. But that still doesn't explain why I wasn't at full life. I meant numbers, not classes. Oh, yeah, probably 4 adventurers per battle. Which I guess technically you can have 4 in a battle right now, but you just don't typically because there's only like 2 places that allow that. Time until max life minus this. All right, I want to print this out. Float regen time equals that. gd.print regen time plus regen time. This is stupid. Let's just put a breakpoint here. Or also here, I guess. Yeah. And sure, let's print it. It doesn't really matter. All right, I'm going to run this. I just don't know what I did wrong. I feel like all the calculations should be correct. So we're going to increase the game speed here a little bit. Taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. Why didn't it break in? What? Why didn't it break in? Get regen time for parties being called right here. Start auto repeat timer. Oh my god, I keep forgetting this. I never turn on the auto repeat timer. Oh. All right, well, now I'm at full life, right? So percent life is 1. Oh, this is interesting. We could actually have just done it this way. We could have said hc.percent life divided by the regen percent. Yeah, that's easy. Okay, let's run that. There's no way to turn on auto battle before a battle starts. So I had to like force win the battle and then turn it on. So now I should be at full life, right? Yep. And so the time until max life should be 0. 14. Oh, it's percent life missing is what I want to know. This is 1 minus percent life. Let's try that. We're getting there. We're doing the thing. Okay, let's see. Is that 0? Yep. So now 0 minus this is what? 1 minus... Oh, I see. Yeah, so this would be negative, which we wouldn't want, of course. So I probably should say that this is at least 0. Math doesn't exist. Screams a class helper for percent life missing. Yeah, probably I should make one of those. And it should be easy enough to do. Well, it's definitely easy enough to do. It's just 1 minus the other one. All right, how much life do we have? Is it still 1? Yeah, there we go. All right, so this should be 0 that gets returned from here. Whoa, what? Why did we call this function twice? How many adventurers do we have? 1, yeah. Oh, because we have 2 get regen time for adventure, yeah. All right, regen time is like point something, doesn't matter what, it's negative, yeah. So we'll get the maximum of that in 0. We go into here, we start this at 0. Does that have some special connotation? Starts a timer if time tag is greater than 0. Drat. So if it is 0, what does that mean? I don't know. I think it just started the battle automatically. Let's get rid of our breakpoints. As long as we always start the battle at full life, everything's fine. We didn't. Why is it not fully restarting? What am I doing wrong? All right, let's put our breakpoints back in. This might not actually repro, because it might be that the math lines up differently here. This says time until max life is 8.3, which should be multiplied by cooldown reset, which I didn't do. This happens to be 1, so it doesn't matter here. But yeah, times cooldown reset. So 8.3, and then what is this value? 0, because wait, that means we just regenerated. Our percent life is 0.42. Oh, because we would have just reset the component. Oh, there might be a race condition here. Did we take the adventurers out of battle first? Show end of battle screen. Battle ended. Ah, yes, we did. Which is going to call reset on their regeneration components. Gotta say, I don't understand. Gonna try this one more time. See if I can make sense of this. I guess there are 2 timers that are competing with each other here. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, that's probably the issue. Yeah, we probably just need to wait when this timer hits to make sure the other timer worked. Yeah, there probably is not a math problem here. Well, let's try that. Win battle, repeat, ignore that. And now wait. Math has quit the stream. Oh, man. Well, Kayla, I hope your weekend is recharging for you. Showing great intelligence. Yeah, and like I said, I wasn't trying to be a jerk or anything. I do think it probably answers quite a lot of questions. And I'm happy to answer anything now, too. All right. So we're at 53% life. Time to fully heal, 6.66, because we need 47%. Yeah, that makes sense. So time until max life is that time until regen is 1. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I know the problem. Yeah. Like I said, not a math problem. It's just a race condition. Problem is there are 2 different timers here. So there's the regeneration system, and that is on its own timer, which is actually just plugged into the Godot like node events thing. And then there's the end battle screen, which has its own timer. So what we could do is we could just, when this thing times out, we could just keep checking to make sure you're at full life. And if you're not, then we just wait a little bit longer. At most, it would take 1 second. I guess that means that the... No. I know what we should do. Yeah. We should copy this into that timeout thing. So float regen time equals this. And if regen time is greater than 0, then just wait a little bit. Like we could set this as 0.1 even. Okay, this probably won't be noticeable, right? 100 milliseconds if you're like right at the end of the timer. Let's see if it works. That time was strange. That's probably a bug. Hey, Ski. Oh, it's not a work thing you're saying? It's a line thing? All right, so we should start at full life. How are we not starting at full life? This is impossible. Yeah, I don't understand. That means that the regen time is 0, which means it just the time hasn't kicked off yet. I think we have to delete this. Yeah. Because these timers aren't synchronized. Please tell me this works this time. Why are we taking like no damage? I must have dodged. Okay, we're full life. Good. We just always need to start every battle with full life. I'm gonna watch this one more time. Okay, that time it was definitely obvious that it kept waiting for another 100 milliseconds because I forgot to give you upwards of 1 second and it's going to do that for. Okay, well, there's another thing we could do here. We could have it compute exactly how long it's going to take you. And instead of having the regeneration system use this, we could just set them to full life when the time hits midnight. Yeah. All right, I think that makes a little bit more sense. Which means you could save up to a second. Yeah, so we don't need to check this exactly. Wait, was that how this will work? Your auto battle timer is tied into this, so yeah, here's where we'd want to set you back to full life. Yeah, okay, cool, yeah. Let's do that. For each adventurer. There's like a restore to full or something. I don't know. It's not going to fix any of this stuff for me, will it? What did I call it? Heal to full. Okay, so it's possible that even though we computed the regeneration time needed, the regeneration system has its own timer. So we may be up to 1 second off. How is C# supporting Godot these days? It's pretty good. You can't export to the web right now if you build in C#, which is unfortunate, but that's an issue that they've known about for a while and they plan on fixing. Generation system has its own timer, so we may be up to 1 second off. Well, 1 tick off. You know what we could do? We could just make ticks faster, right? Yeah, let's do that. I don't know why I didn't think of that. If we just set, I guess it's inside regeneration component. If we just set the cooldown reset to like 0.5 or even 0.25 and then set the regeneration percent to this divided by 4. Whoops. There we go. Then it's pretty much the exact same thing. Easy peasy. Weird seeing someone use C# outside of Visual Studio. Yeah, I guess I haven't used Visual Studio in many, many years. Or if I did use it, it was for like a one-off project just to get something working for a weekend. All right, so win the battle and then hit the auto battle time. I think that's fine. I don't know why it's waiting a second there. Yeah. Oh, because that function has to return minimally 1 second, I guess. So if you're at full life, it will still go to this screen for some amount of time. Yeah, I think this is good. So at best, you could have gamed the system for 1/4 of a second of regeneration time. But now you'll always start a battle at full life when you've got auto battle on. You should not always start a battle at full life if you just click repeat battle. So let's see if that's working. Yeah, no, I'm not at full life. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. Is there anything else I wanted to do there? Oh yeah, set a minimum time. Let's try something here. Let's make it so that we have, let's make it so we can't take any damage and see what that would look like. There. So now bats do 0 damage, which means we'll always win every battle with full life. Which means that as soon as the battle's done, it just starts a new one, I think. Yeah, I think it looks really bad. I think we need a minimum time of at least like 3 seconds. Yeah, it just hardly even shows. There's a problem. There's a really, oh man, so stupid. Okay, there's a really, really obscure problem here that I just thought of. It's not a problem yet, but in the time it takes. Okay, so I can click edit party. Oh, no, I can't. All right, let's cancel auto battle. Imagine auto battle is on and my adventurer is pretty healthy. So when they win the battle, they'll have a timer that says maybe only like 2 seconds remaining. If I go to edit party, it'll turn auto battle off while I'm editing my party. And then I could change to, let's say, a really damaged adventurer. And then it should turn it back on. It needs to make sure that it sets the timer when you turn it back on. Yeah. I don't know where I wrote this down. Or did I write this down? Gotta go find it. Start instance. Here it is. People were confused. Auto battling turned off. Closing the UI can restore auto battle settings. Okay, just note if we do this, now that regeneration is a thing, we may need to reset the auto battle timer so that you don't swap out a healthy party member for an injured one and have them start at full life. Okay. Yeah, let's check this in. I think we're finally in a good state. All right, cooldown percent, cooldown reset. Regen time for party. This is in seconds. And this doesn't take into account how much of a percentage of a tick is remaining. You know, a few people have commented on C# and Godot on Mac. I think the experience is practically identical as doing it on Windows. Because I'm using VS Code, which is on Windows. I'm using Godot, which I mean is on Windows. And a terminal, I guess. Like you would still have a terminal on Windows. In fact, you'd probably use the one from inside VS Code. So I feel like everything is practically the same. Gets how long in seconds the party will take to regenerate their life. This does not take fractions of a tick into account. The regeneration time is purposely low for that reason. Oh, except it does take fractions of a tick into account? No, it doesn't. All right, next, let's make that one change that we mentioned, which is get the amount of life missing, percent life. We'll make a percent life missing. I don't know how that just happened. Let's close out of it. 1 minus percent life. Then we'll use this from inside of whatever that was that I had. This over here somewhere. Yeah, time until max life equals percent life missing. There. Oh, the opinion of the languages really don't even make a difference. Just see them as problem solving tools. Yeah. I guess I generally agree. I think there are languages whose paradigms are different enough where it can drastically increase or decrease your productivity. And then I also think that there are languages that are more error prone or less error prone. So yes, JavaScript is a more error prone one. Rust is a less error prone one. How long in seconds the party will take to regenerate their life does not take fractions of a tick into account. Okay, yeah. Oh, and then we said we needed to set a minimum here, right? Yeah, auto repeat duration. Okay, so regen time is equal to this. The auto repeat duration is going to be math dot maximum of 3 and the regen time. We need a minimum time that this UI shows for because the transition looks bad if it's nearly instantaneous. I just made it so that bats do more damage, but let's make them not do damage anymore. And then let's go try this out. So now the minimum time should be 0 seconds, or 3 seconds. Whoops. All right, so do that, win the battle, auto battle. It says starting in 3. I also like that. I think it's nice. It's indicating how auto battle works the very first time you use it. So now if I force win the battle, it's going to say starting in 3. Yep. Good. And there's no way for me to take damage here, but if I edit location and go to the dungeon, I will for sure take damage. In fact, I will probably die. So let's speed this up a little bit. Yep. And auto battle. Nice. Yeah. I think this is pretty good. Let's see it this time. It was set to 11 seconds. It should be set to like 14.2 or 14.3. Yeah. I like it. I like it. All right. Now, so that Ski can't benefit from bats not doing any damage. Let's revert that. That guy is such a cheater. All right. Looks good. Some of this probably doesn't belong here exactly. Can we get rid of anything? Oh, no, this all looks pretty much fine. And then is there any link function that does this for me? Link max by enumerable.max turns maximum value in a sequence of values. Can we pass in a predicate or something for that? In 32. Is there like a... I mean, there's probably a way to do this, but it doesn't really matter. How do I just see all the functions in link? First or default. There must be some... Yep, here we go. Yeah, here they all are. There's a max, then there's a max by. Maximum value, this was for this. So max by must be the one where you pass in a lambda. Returns maximum value according to a specified key selector function. Yeah, that's what I want. So I think we can just do that. Return, or like float highest time equals adventurers.max by. We don't need a first there, right? Max by should return. Oh, it returns the adventurer with that time. Oh, that's not what I want. I guess first we would need to like map all of these to floats and then return the maximum one in the list. It's not worth doing. Whatever. All I wanted to do is see if I can get the code to look a little bit more succinct, but this is very readable as is. All right, any other things I want to change here? Yeah, get rid of link. Yeah, cool. All right, so change auto battle requirements. You now need for at least 3 seconds to have passed and for your entire party to be at full life. Which brings me to an interesting point. I never tested with a full party. Let's go do that one time. So let's unlock everything and just go to somewhere we're going to die. Here. We don't have any skill points assigned. I'm going to win. I don't want to win. All right, well, whatever. Let's go to there and get rid of the cleric. Now we'll definitely die. I have no skill points. I should not win this. Yeah, I'm probably going to lose. How are they tanking that much? What is going on? Did that change something? This is, I think I'm going to lose, but no, I won. Huh. Yeah, that does seem wrong. Did I change the balance somehow? Or maybe I got really, really lucky with something? I don't even know what. Hey, Mr. Demon Wolf. Am I going to lose this one now? I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, well, it looks like it's working. I don't know how this is operating this way, though. I'm pretty sure you shouldn't just win this fight. Okay, I think we might have broken this. I'm pretty certain I did. I don't think life value should be getting up to like 2,600. Yeah. I think I broke this. I Let's go take a look at how leveling up works in the original game, stat computations. Because I think I made a bad change here. Level up, set max life to this. Yeah, now I'm increasing the max life. Okay, that explains it. Well, the function works. The leveling up doesn't work. Yeah, move fast and break things. Give adventurers like 10 times the life they should have. So instead of increasing your max life by this much, which actually we don't even need to. No, we do need to do it this way. But if it's going to be deltas, then how will this work? How do we set your stats to begin with? Make a health component with the first. No, this won't work. Max level warrior is 365. Yeah, and I had like 2,000. Turns out you're pretty powerful when you do that. All right, well, the way we could get this to work is we increase your max life by this minus the prior level. So float max life at current level. Or we just have a set max life and we just figure out the delta when we do that. Yeah, I'll make it set max life. Set max life. Okay, so max life is going to be equal to the amount, max life. And we figure out a delta beforehand. That's how much you increase it by. Yeah, so then life plus equal delta. All right, that should work. And we'll say this is new max life, just to make it a little bit more obvious. Now let's try that out. Oh, man. Figure out the text cropping bug. I think it's just a resolution problem. If you have the game at exactly a multiple of 1920 by 1080, then I think it shouldn't be a problem. So I think we just need to make proper resolution settings. There was something else I wanted to check before I ran this thing. Where was it? Stat computations. I'm starting to get a headache, man. Set max life. Yeah. I just changed the name of the function. Okay, let's try that out. So I'm going to hit grant most things, and the warrior should have 365 like Ski said. Yeah. Okay, that's good. There's actually one more thing I should test. You should be able to level up and it'll affect you while you're in battle now. So let's make sure that's working. So grant money and we're going to level up. We need to take some damage. Good. Did that work? Oh, it might have worked, but now you only get like 5 life. Yeah, it's definitely working. Yeah, Ski, at some point, I want to fix a couple of bugs, and I was hoping to send somebody a build who had these problems. I'm assuming you have a higher than 60 hertz refresh rate monitor. I think you were one of the people who ran into the issue where, like, you zoom in or something and it's, like, bouncing all over the place. Yeah. Yeah, and you hit that issue, right? The, like, weird panning and zooming. Because I don't hit that issue, and we know what the problem is, and we just need to fix it, but I want to test it on someone's machine who had all these problems. Okay, so fix broken life values. I was increasing the maximum life for adventurers by the amount that it should have been set to. Yeah. You did not have a bouncing and zooming issue. Interesting. Huh. I don't know how that's possible. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. This. Oops, I did not mean to save that link. The thing where the map would jump back to the edge of the screen if you try to scroll off. Yeah, Melmsy had a video in Discord about this. Here it is. There's like a bunch of jittering going on. And it happens when you zoom as well, I think. Yeah, anyway, I'm pretty sure we know the fix to this. Wait, so you do get that. Okay, didn't notice it while playing. Gotcha. Yeah, I was going to say you probably don't really move the camera around too much. But yeah, I want to fix that stuff at some point. All right, so where do we end up here? Don't add any special UI inputs. Try lowering the minimum battle time. If all we want to show the end battle screen for, okay, I'm gonna just leave that in the issue for right now. I do when trying to pan outside the map. Huh, gotcha. Okay. Probably add in some player-wide skills that affect life regeneration while in town. Maybe it can be like an idle ascendance. We have it set to take 14 seconds right now. And the minimum time is 3 seconds. 3 seconds minimum to auto battle. 14.3 seconds maximum if you were dead. So if we want to upgrade this ability, what's a reasonable time to apply? Maybe like 6 seconds. There was a reason I didn't want this getting too low. I don't remember why though. Did I write it down? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can lower it down to 3. We'll figure it out later. Hey, Heen. Hope I heard right and checked the correct spec, but I have a 144 hertz monitor. Yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe it doesn't happen while zooming, or maybe it's only on the like super high refresh rate monitors or something. But either way, it's happening for the camera thing, and I think if we fix it for that, we'll probably have just fixed it for everything. Anyway, I'm not going to do this right now, but we do need to add this later. So I'll put this in some kind of content issue. Add content for checkpoint number 3. Okay, so add a player-wide ability to affect regeneration rate. I'm not sure what we want the lower bound to be. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, what's next? Consider whether oh, you can just drag these around? Whoa, is that new? I don't know if that's new, but I wanted to do that earlier. I wanted to drag things into the cleanup section. Okay. Well, consider whether adventurers that are auto battling shouldn't even be added to the town again. Yeah, this isn't part of this issue though. This is part of a different issue. So I'm just going to copy paste this somewhere else. Your subscription renewed? Can you contact their customer support? I wonder if they're amenable to fixing issues like that. File some ideas for player-wide abilities to affect healing, double the healing. Yep, sure. Consider whether they should be able to pick up potions. Okay, you know what? This issue is now done. I'm going to check this in. Let's sync that. Let's mark this as closed. And then let's go write this down here. Yeah. Oh, you never tried to cancel it. Okay. Well, they still might be amenable to fixing it. You never know. Plus, you stand to save however much the cost of the subscription is, which is, I don't even know how much. RuneScape subscription cost. $12.49. Really? Man, that's more expensive than I would have thought. Wow. Guess you're playing RuneScape, like Ski said. Okay, so I think we're done with that. That did take a lot of the day. This next one, allow manually moving items. Let's plan it out a little bit before we do it. We might already have some planning written somewhere. Manual. Did I never write this down? I probably never wrote this down. Oh, you know what I did? I had it a long time ago and then said, you know what? We're not going to do this. This one right here. See what it would be like to allow manually moving items around. Closing this since it's just not that compelling. Plus, I think when I wrote this, we hadn't fully settled on having adventurers as workers. Well, now we undid that. So let's reopen this issue. Reopen. Checkpoint 3. Projects. I already had the check mark. Content already exists. Oh, restore was archived. Status done in progress. Iteration, current iteration. Okay. Oh, it was the year subscription. Oh. Will I be able to pick up customers and put them into a pond if they complain about my wares? You only corrected 2 of your 4 typos. Yes, sure. Actually, that would be kind of cool, but no, I'm not going to allow that. Okay, I think we're done with that. Where's the manually moving items part? Did I not write this down? I wrote something that was going to be... Ah, here it is. This is all I wrote, though. Add the ability to manually move an item from the storeroom to a valid destination. When you pick up an item, maybe show it slightly transparent and don't allow a worker to pick it up. Well, the thing I was kind of giggling about is I imagine typing a message and then you fix every typo in the next one. So the pick, pond, town, dinky. You're like, it's like a puzzle putting the message back together. I hope this doesn't sound like I'm ragging on you too hard, Alibi, but I just found it funny. So how do we want this to work? We need to give items a collider. $80. Yeah, I would definitely contact them. So if an item is over here, you should be able to maybe drag it. The problem is dragging is for dragging the camera right now. And I'm concerned that if you start dragging an item, you're going to need to drag the camera to put it where it belongs. We probably need to allow you to put it back. Should allow you to put the item back where you got, or back in the storeroom on an empty display. Yeah, when you pick up an item, make sure the display is still considered in use, or else you may not have a place to ever put the item. Charges your card in USD, which gets converted to euros. Man. So there are 2 ways we could do this. So problem. Need to figure out how you can move items. So option number 1 could be like left click puts it on your cursor, then left click places it. Option number 2 is drag the item to pick up and drop it to place it. You have to pan the camera. Well, you probably have to pan the camera while doing this, which may make it unwieldy. And then option number 3 could be like a combination of those 2. Option 1 will be better for future controller support. It's a good thought. I wonder if it's also just more usable. I guess if you knew you wanted an item moved from here to here, it might be fine. You'd left click to pick it up, and then you would left click to place it. Maybe we allow for both. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward option 3. But let's at least do option number 1 at first. And then consider allowing dragging to move items in addition to left clicking, pick up and place. You don't have any function for right click yet, right? There is one, which is deallocating player skills. So if you right click, you remove skills. I guess there's not player skills, also these. But that's it, I think. Yeah, okay, I see. So yeah, let's go with option 3 then, but we'll start with number 1. Okay, so items need a collider. Add a collider to the items. And then we need some concept of there's just going to be one item you can click at a time or have selected, I guess. So there's a concept of a selected item, and it should probably show up at your mouse cursor. Show the grabbed item at the mouse cursor. Show the source item transparent or maybe with text picked up or something. I don't know. And then what? When left clicking an item, if you don't have a grabbed, what should I call it when you're holding an item? If you're not holding an item, if you're not holding an item already, pick it up, hold it, I guess, hold it. Show the held item. No, don't cancel that. So left clicking, if you're not holding an item already, hold it. If you are holding an item, try to place it. Valid destinations are a shop of the same category. No. An item display. Hey, Terabyte. Thanks for the raid. What were you streaming today? I'm not familiar with your content. And hey, Scoreline. We are working on a game called Skeleseller, and I just launched what I'm calling checkpoint number 2 of this last week. So the way this game works is you are running a town. You're actually this skeleton, and there are multiple skeletons, but that's because I have cloning in the game, so let's turn that off. And you hire adventurers to do battle for you. And when they win a battle, it will put some items into your shop, and then your little skeleton is going to go over there and pick it up and put it into an item display where customers can then go buy it. And if you want to play this now, you can. It's totally free for now. Eventually, it's going to cost money. But yeah, that's the brief overview. Yeah, what are you working on, Terabyte? I see Pokemon stuff in your banner, which assumedly means Pokemon stuff. Well, welcome in, everybody. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. What we're about to work on. So I mentioned this thing about checkpoint number 2. We started the game in, I don't know, like April or something. And something like May 16th was checkpoint number 1. Game was really rough around the edges. It had almost exactly 1 month of dev time behind it. And we got pretty good feedback. It steered us toward the next checkpoint, which, like I said, was a week ago. And the amount of feedback we've gotten, it's like 30 something responses, and it mostly summarized into these categories. There were some problems with the resolution. Those are pretty easy to fix. Well, not easy to fix. They're straightforward to fix. It's a refresh rate problem. So like screen problems, accessibility, we got to fix those. Some people wanted more to do in the game. And this is what brings us to the current task I'm working on. You get items in the game. So like, let's just, fake that we've upgraded our town a lot and I grant a bunch of items. So you get these items and there are several characters that can move them to the location that they belong at, but clearly not enough to have emptied my storeroom. So what if you could click and put the item on the cursor and then go drop it over here and, just manage this stuff yourself. So I think that'll be a good way of adding a little bit more active play. Yeah. I had to go back through the bot to see you respond to my message. Yeah. By the way, I don't know if Terabyte's still here, but anyone else, feel free to answer for Terabyte. I'm curious what this stream is about. Regardless, I always appreciate raids and appreciate having new blood in here. Or just planning this task for right now in text, and then I'll start coding it. So in left clicking an item, if you're not holding one, hold it. If you are holding one, try to place it. Valid destinations are an item display of the same category, a storeroom display, and a quest bin if the item is accepted by the quest. Show the held item at the mouse cursor. Okay, then you should need some way of dropping the item. When left clicking the source item while already holding it, drop the item. When right clicking while holding an item, drop the item. make sure right-clicking a skill doesn't trigger this behavior. Yeah, make sure, actually really just make sure left-clicking buttons and stuff doesn't remove your held item or try to place it. Teaching simple things like reading resistors and very basic on how resistors work. Oh, cool. Yeah. Neat. I have not done a lot of what I would call electrical engineering. I made this keyboard, although that's not even totally fair to say because there is an open source schematic for it and I modified it very slightly and then painstakingly soldered it all together. And I'm like, never touching that again. Idle game classic flow is you can only do it manually at the beginning, then buy an upgrade. I think that is a classic flow, and I don't know how much of this you're going to be doing later in the game. I think the way many idle games start is it's like click to get one of something, and then eventually you get an auto clicker that gives you like 0.05 of that thing, maybe per second. So it's like, well, you can click many times per second, then get one, or you could wait 20 seconds to get one. Can't do coding very at all. Want to learn someday? Honestly, it's not too bad. I feel like if you're smart enough to teach things to other people, you're smart enough to learn coding. Although to be honest, a less tongue-in-cheek thing is I really think probably anybody is capable of learning coding if you're capable of learning, sort of basic things that anyone can learn. I think there is probably a level of disability where you couldn't learn coding, but I don't think many people who would be watching the stream right now would be at that level. All right, so the first easy thing is add a collider to the items. Do we have an item scene that is going to make this simple? Yes, we do. And look at it when you zoom in by 2000%. You can finally see it. Is it available on iPhones? No, it's only a computer game right now, although it is available on Mac, Windows, and Linux. But eventually, if it's successful on PC as a platform, I would probably try porting it. You'd be surprised. I think what is underlying that sentiment is that not everyone is motivated to learn it, but I think everyone has the ability to, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that certainly not everyone will find the motivation or the time or the, I don't know, the resources that they need. Hey, Sal. I'm doing well. I think it's been a pretty good day. We coded persistent life values. So now when you end a battle, like you can see here, well, it's not a good example. Let's win this battle and then cancel this. Okay, yeah. So let's say I go here into Volcano 3. I'm going to die pretty quickly. And then once I'm dead, instead of just being able to battle immediately again, we have to wait for our life to regenerate. So you can see this here. We actually can battle immediately if we want to. We can just hit repeat battle. But we're not going to just start at full life. And if you want to have auto battle on, it's going to wait for your regeneration to finish. So these two bars should be aligned now. Coding a Pi Pico just messed up casing and some values. Yeah, see terabyte. I knew it. I knew you could do it. Hey, Nox. Yeah, the game has changed a lot. I think the most visible thing is that we now have a town map that looks better than just a bunch of blank gray space. But there are a lot of things that still need to change. We need customers to be more like regular customers. But that's what we're starting to work on. I've got a couple weeks until my vacation. And in that time, I think we can get a decent amount of this list done. I still have to play catch up on Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah. Okay, so let's go add that collider. We'll do this the same way we did this for the shop. Which, I mean, is the way you do it for pretty much everything. Make this a static body and give it a collision shape. Well, in this case, it was a static body. I guess what the shop keep has, which is just an area 2D with a collider underneath. Yeah. All right, same thing. Let's add an area 2D and a collider, collision shape. This is going to be a rectangle. And we probably want it to be a little bit bigger than the item, but just a little bit. How large is this right now? Where's the size? Ah, there it is, 20 by 20. Yeah, that's pretty good. Items are 16 by 16, so I think 20 by 20 is just the right size. Is that the game design document? The game design document is here. And this is, I am a very notes/document heavy person. So this actually came from another document, which was probably equally long. Yeah, this one was 36 pages. This was for the game that this all started as, which is called Idle Ascendants, which is playable, but I do not recommend playing it. I'm not even going to paste the link in chat. But yeah, this game was just really the battle system of Skeleseller. So you walked around and got into battles and then manually controlled it at first. MySpace taught me HTML. I think once you've gotten a little bit of it, it shouldn't be too bad. It's sort of like learning math, the way I think about it. It's like at some point in your life, you didn't know what a number was. And then at some point in your life, you didn't know how to add numbers. And then at some point, you didn't know multiplication or square root or derivative or anything, or applying it to real world things that you wanted to do. But as you learned that stuff, everything just made sense. And I think that with programming, it's the same way. There are foundational skills that you learn. And as you build up, each thing that you're building onto it makes sense. But trying to dive in the deep end, I think, is pretty tough. MySpace taught us all HTML. MySpace taught us prioritizing your friends for that, like, what, block of 9 people or something. All right, we need a click thing on here. Oh, if you click an item that's being held, I guess we got to make sure you can't do that stuff. Where did that issue go? Yeah, here. Make sure you can't click an item that's being held by a worker or, yeah, by a worker. Top 8? Oh, my bad. I, I couldn't remember what the layout was. Made a programming hangman game in Godot for one of my classes. Couldn't get to export to web. Well, hey, if you could rewrite it in a day, I mean, that's still pretty good. Top 8. How many people had Tom in their top 8? So add a collider, we're done. When left clicking it, if you're not holding an item already. So we need something to track that you're holding an item. And I guess it'd be somewhere in the town, or maybe we have like an item holder thing. Although we're eventually going to want to see if you could place it somewhere. Yeah, you know what? I will make a new class for this. I think it's kind of ridiculous to keep adding onto here. So where do we put this? Items. I'll call this like player item. Player item. I don't think that's a good way of saying this. Held item? Player held item? Player held item. Yeah, sure. We'll come up with a better name later, maybe. Walk, did you make Godot? Do you prefer using C# and Godot over GDScript? Yeah, I do. I have a brief FAQ about the game itself. And one of the questions is, what are you using to make it? Why not GDScript? And this links to some notes I have about why I'm using C# over GDScript. Okay, so let's go get whatever else is in this and just copy paste that. So sure, this. Actually, this is a bad example. Let's get something else. Let's get item data. Yeah, sure. That's good. All right, so player held item. This is not serializable. I don't know what we're going to store here yet, what we're going to do. We're going to just figure this stuff out. When you click an item, though, there needs to be some kind of handler. And I think the town would need to connect this, but that means that every item that ever comes into existence, we need a click handler for. Although that's not even really true. It's really just the storeroom that needs it, and only for its item displays. Let's take a look at this. Survivor item. This is, to be clear, this is like you're picking up, imagine this. Like I can drag this down here and I've just dragged some text. Imagine you can do that, but with items in the game. So it's something you as a player are picking up, and there's no concept of you being a survivor. So yeah, I think player held item is not bad. It's just, I don't like that it's technically hyphenated. It's an item held by the player, and that's what's modifying the word item, and you can't have hyphens in class names. So there's probably something slightly better than that. So the storeroom has a bunch of item displays, and it saves them inside of a node. Each item display can have an item, the items themselves. Actually, now that I think about it, what if instead of clicking the item, you clicked the display? The question is, do I ever want to allow you to take an item from a worker? I don't think so. And if I do, I could just change how this stuff works. Yeah, I just can't really see why I would want you to do that. So yeah, I guess what you're really doing is you're clicking item displays in the storeroom. And maybe you could click item displays in a shop as well. There are no other item sources. The items could be on the ground. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess clicking items makes more sense. Yeah. Unless we're dropping workers in the pond. Maybe the pond is where you have to bring all the items to. And they sink to the bottom, and then the pond no longer exists. And you find there was treasure underneath what is now a mountain of items. Skella unburying game. Genius. Okay, so item display has an item itself. Item in this case is a scene script. Yes. So at some point we're going to need a you clicked me kind of thing. Let's get that from here. Mouse button. Yeah, on input event. Put you into item. Reason I don't like email is because it's not grouped by sender. I mean, you can just search, right? For like sent by and then the name. Okay, so if you left click, set it as handled, and then admit that this was clicked, can the item know on its own what to do? No, it can't. Okay, so we just need to say public. Let's just get an action. On click. All right, and that's what we're going to do over here. On click dot invoke. Okay. Now it says this is unused. Shouldn't this be an override here? Clickable area. Oh, that's why. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. All right, we can call it the same thing, clickable area. Cool. And then let's just test that out. Clicky. So this will let us know if we've got clicking items working. Although if a worker is carrying it, it'll still let us click it. Yeah, clicky. Can I click that? Yes, I can. Okay. So then the item needs some concept of who is clicking it, and the item doesn't know that. So we need something on the storeroom, for example, or an item display. Item display. When you set an item, what we could do is we could say item.onClick plus equal click item. This should probably pass in the item that was clicked. So let's put that over here. And then click item, let's go make. Private void click item, item, item. And yeah, we could put our clicked item thing in there, I guess. I'll just delete it from here. But we need to now remove this when you remove the item. So here it is. So item.onClick minus equal click item. Okay, good. So now we know that it belongs to an item display. Item displays exist in both the shop and the storeroom. We want to know that this was part of the storeroom. So I think the storeroom would need to listen to its item displays that it has. So there's a problem of initial lack of organization. Why do you want to group by sender? Because I think there are sometimes I want that, in which case I search for it. But oftentimes I just want to see what's new in my inbox. Well, I do tend to try to keep my inbox to 0 emails. Do you think the future is IT? I'm guessing that's what you're asking, Noah. I guess about as much as it currently is. I don't know if it's becoming more so than it is. I feel like there was a huge expansion of software engineering jobs, and that has come to a close in the last couple of years. And I think even the desirability of software engineering jobs has probably decreased a little bit in the last couple of years. I've been doing some interviews on stream, and one of the interviews I did recently was with Mel, Juicebox Hero on Twitch. And she talked about how hypergrowth is really never sustainable and probably not even a good idea in the first place for a lot of companies. And there was a lot of hypergrowth during the pandemic for companies. Yeah, I don't see the world becoming less digital, but I also don't know when the next sort of boom for software engineers will be. I think there's still a lot of news of layoffs, especially in gaming. I guess Intel just laid off like 15,000 people. Oh, that's not technically just software. It's probably hardware people in that too. So we have an item display getting added here. When we add an item display, we can... Why are there so many... Here it is, add item display. All right, so item display can have an on item clicked function. On item clicked. Yep. And we can listen to that in here. Click item, yeah. Invoke it with the item, cool. And then the storeroom can listen for that. So on item clicked plus equal handle item clicked, sure. Bungie laid off 200 yesterday, wow. So I want Sentry emails that tell me my app is blowing up. Wait a second. There's a way to make filters and stuff, right? At least in Gmail. I'm pretty sure what you're talking about is something I've done before, where it's like people, emails from this sender with this subject go to a certain label, and then I just go look at that label when I want to. And there are shortcuts for going to certain labels. I think that's what you probably want. I think that would accomplish what you want to see. Although I guess it wouldn't group by sender, but you'd at least have all the emails from that one sender. Isn't that to do with interest rates being so high, though? Most companies are trying to service debt as much as they can. I'm not sure the exact cause is. And I think that a lot of this probably is cyclical anyway. So regardless of the cause, probably it will bounce back to some extent, and that we're not just watching all the companies slowly die out. But I think there are a lot of aspects to this, and just the aggregation of wealth in some of the biggest companies probably also has to do with this. Made a rule that certain coworkers' email goes straight to the trash. Did you really? Find the UX of reading them subpar. I see. Okay. Yeah. I think there are very few companies that have tried to like revolutionize email. There was one of them, I want to say it was called Hey or something. It was some like, yeah, it was called Hey. I don't know what they offer or what they say they, yeah. But who knows? Maybe something like this is good for you. I don't know what their value prop is what I was trying to say. All right, so handle item click. This is in the storeroom. So when you click the item, we got to mark that it was handled, which probably means the storeroom just needs to have its own on item clicked thing. What does reflection.metadata do in there? On item clicked. And this is an event, which means it probably needs to go in a different order than it currently is. Good. And now the town has access to the storeroom. And we'll just say like set up storeroom. There's set up shops and everything. Okay, on item clicked. Let's just have it print out what the item is and make sure that this worked. Print item. Yeah, whatever it decides is good for toString, I'm okay with that. Item. Actually, do we need to type this? I don't remember. No, we don't. definitely agree it won't happen again. I mean, there might be another pandemic, and the pandemic might last longer than the first one did. You never know, right? I don't think most people would have predicted the first pandemic, or not maybe first, the last one, the one that most of us think of when we say the pandemic. All right, so we got to go click an item and make sure that it says whatever that item is. Yeah, it's not great, but whatever. So now what we would do is we would need to associate that with the storeroom or some sort of source. We probably need to know what item display it came from or which one it's associated with. So probably each one of these things should be tacking on more information. In fact, yeah, this should tack on information in item display. And then this should pass in just this. And I guess the item can come from here. And click item doesn't even need to pass anything in. Yeah. Good and good. All right, then the storeroom gets it, and instead of passing an item, it would pass an item display. But even then, maybe it also needs to pass where the item display belongs. Do we have something here where it knows where it belongs? Has an item category. I don't think it does. Belongs to shop. Interesting. So there's no concept of belongs to storeroom. Well, let's just search for belongs to. No. Is there a storeroom component? There is. What gets this? Where did this go? Does the storeroom get it? Oh, I see. It's just for storing a storeroom. It's a storeroom storer. So an item display doesn't know that it could belong to the storeroom. We could make that distinction. Actually, I guess what we could check is if it doesn't belong to a shop, it belongs to the storeroom. There are only two places there are item displays right now. So then it's fair to just pass in the item display here, which means we take this. Handle item clicked, item display, and invoke this with the item display. Overhyping AI, starting to see the prices collapse as you start to see the actual capability curve of LM become more flat rather than parabolic. I think it's early to call some of this stuff because I still think AI is helping people and that it hasn't fully realized its potential. And the more that it helps people develop software, the faster software can be developed, and maybe we get to that parabolic growth again. Or I guess exponential, right? Isn't a parabola something that will eventually drop? Exponential just implies it's going up. All right. On item clicked is not a thing now. It's on item display clicked. Well, I guess it is an item, and it was associated with. All right, I don't know. I just want to get this functional. So this is now an item display. And what we want to do is check. In this case, we know it came from the storeroom. So what we can do is we can now mark it as selected. Item display dot item dot. Let's just go put a dummy function over here that does something simple. Public void set selected. Bool is selected. Yeah, there. So when it's selected, let's make it green. RGB. It's going to be like toxic green. And when it is not selected, it'll be just the regular color. Then in a town, we'll say set selected true. Dereference a possibly null reference. I mean, we know that it's defined. Although maybe it's the item display that doesn't know it's defined. So I grant an item and I click the item and it turns green. I click that one and it turns green. So cool. This is getting closer to what I want. We now need adventurers to not pick them up when they're toxic green. It does look kind of cool. Still worth the same amount. Yeah. All right, well, that one's done. When left clicking, if you're not holding an item, hold it. So this is where the player held item thing needs to come into effect. And we need to store this somewhere. I guess let's just say private player held item equals null. Actually, just make it a new thing. Yeah. Did I type a lot with only oh no, you're talking about loggerhead. My bad. It's hard for me to ever see the reply text because I always just assume people are talking to me in chat. Even when it's not true. So I don't have anything inside of here yet. Yeah, this is just totally empty. But this is what should handle this. It should say like handle item clicked item display or handle item display clicked. It's actually an item clicked that belongs to an item display. So it's kind of weird that I even did this. Then let's go generate that function. Make this public. So this should work. Why is this yellow? Remove this empty class. Oh, I see. So big-headed. I'm on DK mode. Golden Eye DK mode. What a great thing that they added to the game, though, right? Look at this. This is so silly looking. So we need a concept of an item that you're already holding. So public item question mark held item. Or not even public, private. Held item equals null, which we don't need to set, I guess. And then here's where we can finally check this. So if there is a held item, and I guess we might need to know what item display it came from. But if there's a held item, then we don't want to select a new one. How about we start with the base case here? So if there's not a held item, set that one to be selected. If there is a held item, then set the held item to not be selected and then select the new one. This is not the code I'm going to keep, but this is not supposed to be read-only. Why would I make this read-only? I want it to be set its value, but if I set it to null, it's going to complain about that I'm using the default. It doesn't matter. So now all this is going to do is make it so that I can only select one item at a time. So grant, click, click, click. That did not work. If the held item is not null, set selected to false. Oh, we never actually set the held item to the current item. Held item equals item displayed item. There. We turn storeroom to a big market with like 10 stores and a smith and a gardener. The storeroom is here. This is just for storing items. Your market is the rest of the town. So what you're talking about already exists. Potatoes rather than chips and cut them to size myself. Or get this, French fries instead of chips. Trust me, I know what I'm saying. Yeah, cool. So now you can only select one of these. Can I click that item? Hello, stop walking away. You can't because it doesn't belong to an item display now. In fact, is this causing an error? It's not. It's just that only the storeroom cared about this. Okay, so when left clicking, if you're not holding an item, hold it. If you are holding it, try to place it. Yeah, so where you would left click would be an item display or a quest bin or, yeah, no, an item display or quest bin. So we need to add colliders to item displays, add colliders to quest bin. Yeah. So before we get to that, because I don't think that's super important, I want to make it so that we sort of duplicate the item onto your cursor and then render that. And for that to work, I think it would mean we need this to be in the scene tree. Oh man, I probably should have taken a break a while ago. Yeah, you know what? Let me do that because I've been just nonstop working. So where I left off, I want to show the held item on the cursor. So I probably need player held item in the scene tree. Okay, I'll be back in just a little bit. Is it jump time? It's jump time. For those who've never seen this, by the way, you can join through Twitch chat. Just type join. The instructions are on the screen. You got 36 seconds. I'll be back in a little bit. Hey everybody, what's going on here? Uh-oh. Okay. Something was gonna like fall off my desk. I'm trying to raise this. Close the game. Yeah. Looks like my lighting is a little weird. Let me set this to, let's just set it through here. Bright. Whoa. Okay, that's too much. I don't have a setting in between bright and chillin'. I'll just manually turn it down. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. Okay, yeah, so where I left off was I wanted to render this item that you have on your cursor. And I think we want this in the scene tree then. There should be some player held item. Man, I can't tell you how many times I've messed this up. Okay, town. So where do we want this to render? Over instances and stuff? I could see you wanting to drag it over instances too. In which case I guess we would put it at this level and not just in the town. Do we have anything else that follows this concept right now? The UIs, I guess, and the UIs are at this level. Yeah. Okay. So I think we would put it inside of here. Although, let me try something. Let's go put something in town really fast. Let's try this out. I'm gonna just add a sprite, and we're gonna just put something in there. Yeah, let's put this whole sprite sheet in. That's fine. There. Okay, so there's the sprite sheet. Now we're gonna have the sprite sheet follow the mouse. I'm just gonna call this testeroni. Yeah. All right, so in the town, ready. Let's get sprite, or I guess testeroni equals get node. All right, where does this thing exist? You know what? Let's just make it unique. There, done. All right, so get node sprite 2D percent testeroni. Okay. Now go get that. Then in process, I'm just going to make it so that this thing gets set to wherever the mouse is. Get global mouse position. And that's it. Let's go see if that works. I don't see anything, but then again, it might just be hot reloading that's broken. It almost certainly is. Well, let's restart this. I have quite the headache brewing over here. Mayo with Dijon mustard in it. Sounds good. The website does not like Dark Reader. All right, so there's that. Why is this not working? Ah, that's why. Object reference not set. So then I can't find testeroni. Can't find testeroni. Why not, though? Is it not a percent? Am I making this up? No, it is. Did I name it wrong? No, I named it right. I guess it's inside of a different scene. I guess that's the problem. So maybe it's only unique within a particular scene. Oh, okay, fine. Well, whatever. Just put this over here. And then I guess it doesn't matter. I'm going to delete this at some point. Yeah, just rerun this. I think it'll work now. And all I wanted to see is if I put this inside the town level, is it going to get cut off by the viewports? And I think it will. Yes, it is. Yeah. So it's a little weird how this is working right now, but you can see the skeletons are getting cut off. So if I want the item to be draggable over everything, and I probably do, then I need to put it at a different level. What I'm thinking about is, well, a couple things. One, even though you might point at the instances, I don't know if you'd expect it to look like your mouse cursor or if you'd expect it to look like the item that you're holding. And two is, what if you could pick up a potion and you could apply it to a battle somehow? But yeah, I think the first one's more important, which is just like, why would you expect this thing to disappear when you're hovering over, yeah, like this? Why would you expect it to disappear when you are pointing at the bottom part of the screen? I think it would just look strange. And I think that's a bigger reason to do this. So we've at least tested this, so now I can just delete this thing. So we know we need to add this at a higher level, which is this level. Add child. So this will be a sprite representing the item. It could just be an item, right? Although I guess you'd have the value showing in that case. What else does an item have? It's literally just an item in a clickable area. And in this case, we don't want you clicking the item you're already holding. What's the first thing you started learning with Godot? I have all of that online somewhere. Not that I'm trying to be obtuse here. I will answer your question to the best of my ability. But I think I have a playlist here somewhere from like 2020 of when I was learning Godot. I thought I did. Ah, there it is. Let's learn Godot engine. Yeah, so there's the playlist. I don't fully remember what I did when I was learning this. And I think I might have just gone to the other. No, I didn't. I think I just went through whatever tutorial they had. Yeah, learn the overview of like scenes and nodes. Apparently made some simple, probably guided project that they had. Yeah. I used that knowledge to eventually build a course that I made about Godot. And I made like this game that you see. Where is it? It was like a Realm of the Mad God style game. And this is open source, and there's a course about how to make it, and it's free. That was my first experience with Godot. And that was, I think that was 2020. And then I stopped streaming for a while to go work at Google. And then I came back to streaming in December. Realm is such an old but classic game as well. Yeah, I liked Realm of the Mad God when it first came out. Then I feel like they went crazy with pets, and you had to like, I don't know, it felt like it was an endless grind. But they needed to monetize somehow, and that's how they chose to do it. It's just these microtransactions for buying items. All right, I'm definitely losing steam here. I'm debating on what I want to make this thing. I think an item. I think it makes sense. In fact, actually, if we're going to do that, why even have this thing be in the scene tree until it's needed? Like the town can just listen for when it should render an item and maybe where it should render it. Alternatively, we put the player held item in town and it can choose when to show something. All right, I think we'll do that. Node 2D. This will be player held item. And then attach a script. Be nice if there was a search box in here, so I didn't need to do it this way. There we go. Now we go make this a partial class and say that it extends from a sprite or a node 2D. We learned about variable get node. Yeah. I think it's really good to learn the basics of Godot, like how the scene tree works, when you should make something a scene, because that's what the whole engine is based off of. So if you're holding an item, I want this to render the item. So private item question mark. Actually, what we could do is, this is a reference to the original. So we would need a displayed item, displayed held item. So this is a reference to the source item that you're holding. And this is a reference to the item that's rendering on screen. So we need to duplicate this somehow. Have I ever had a need to do this? Nope. How do we make an item? Oh, we just create it with the same ID. Well, easy peasy then. In fact, we could just make a clone function out of that. That way we keep all of this together. Public item clone. In fact, this should know how to do this. You don't need a region rect set the same way. Yeah, this is pretty simple. All right, so now we have a way of cloning the item. Now I want that in here. Either way, we're going to need a displayed held item equals this dot clone. But if that existed already, then we want to delete it. Although it going out of scope should be all we need to do. I'm going to put headphones on. There are a lot of people in the house right now. It's a little hard to focus. I've got noise canceling headphones now. So we clone this, and then I want to add this to the current. Okay, I see what we're going to need to do. Add child displayed held item. And if displayed held item is not null, then we delete it. Then we want to position this always at the mouse cursor so we can override private or override process. If held item is not equal to null, I guess it's just that the displayed one is not equal to null, then set its global position to the mouse position. Yeah, let's try that out. I haven't paid attention to the Olympics at all, although I never really have. I've just never been interested for some reason. Okay, I don't think this is working. Yeah, no, that's pretty clear that it's not working. Object not set to an instance. Where is this coming from? Oh, there's the town needs to change. This testeroni thing doesn't exist anymore. But also player held item now needs to be an actual thing that we fetch and ready. Yeah. Equals get node. I'm not sure where this is in the scene tree. It's under the town viewport, but it's not inside the town. So it's here. And then what does it say? A read-only field cannot be assigned to. Yeah. So delete that, delete that. Tons of drama with it. All I know is that now Google News or Google Now or whatever it's called, the thing where I swipe on my screen and I get to the side and there's a bunch of news items there, it seems to just be pulling whatever I searched for last. Like my mother-in-law asked me the other day, what colors can cats see? And I'm like, I don't know. And I search for it. And then I started seeing things about what colors can cats see show up in my feed. And I'm like, who wants to know this? Who cares that much? It's not like I searched for news. It was just like a factual thing. Hey, nice. We got it. Check that out. So now the cursor changed to have this on it. And if I click the axe, it changes out of the axe. We can't do anything with it yet. Also, maybe we should make it double size and probably get rid of all these errors. What happened here? Process line 230. Oh, this is the testeroni thing. That shouldn't even exist. Man, I just keep not deleting this from the game. Yeah, actually knowing which colors cats can see kind of helped. I ordered a cat toy rod for our cat, and I wanted to find a color she couldn't see that well so that she wouldn't get distracted by that and would instead chase the toy. So I got a red one, which maybe was, I don't know, the best of the choices they had. The other ones all seemed like they were more in the spectrum that they could see. So do I want to make this thing double size? We just scale this up. Displayed held item dot scale. I think it'll feel better this way. So mean. No, I don't want them seeing the rod. I want them seeing the toy. It's a better play experience. Abby's been going nuts on the I've got this just like a protein shake box. Do I have any pictures of this? She like attacks the box like crazy. No, I don't have any easy to show you pictures. Except for this one. She like horseshoed her body into the box while still standing on the ground. It's very funny to me. I love that cat. All right, is this working? Yeah, nice. So double the size is probably a little too much. I think we need to make it bigger, but not so much bigger that it's actually any fractional size probably isn't going to work. Yeah, let's just set it to 1. One of them high-powered green lasers. We have a red laser. I don't think you want high-powered lasers when I'm playing with a cat because even a mildly reflective surface could probably damage their eyes. So I think the low-power red ones are pretty good. All right, well, I got that working. So now we want to make the source item slightly transparent. So in here, we have set selected. We're just going to make it so that instead of being green when it's selected, we're going to make it just slightly faded out. Maybe like that. Okay, so what do we do? Show held one at the mouse cursor. Show the source item transparent. And now don't let workers pick up a held item. So an item itself needs to know whether it's held. And right now it only knows that based on its modulate. So we make a public bool is selected. If we're going to do this though, we really should just return, well, I guess we could just do this for right now. But this should change in the future because this is not a smart way of doing it. Change this to be more sensible. I'll do that before I commit. So if an item's selected, don't let a worker go get it. So there's a pickup from storeroom, and we need to get valid displays. New target, get random filled storeroom display. So we get filled or empty item displays. And then, I guess we don't want the item to be held that's inside of it. If has item equals filled and item display dot item dot is selected. Yeah. Okay. Method group cannot be made nullable. Is this not returning? No, it's returning a bool. Oh, you can't just, okay. Can I do this? Well, I don't know. There we go. All right, so is selected, and otherwise you just set true. Yeah, I think that'll work. Hey, Mersham, how you doing? You haven't been in since January. Whoa. Whoa. This looks like a spot for a race condition. Worker can choose a display, and then you click the item, and the worker can still go to the chosen display. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah. Good eye, Ski. So when you do pick up an item, we got to stop a worker from going there. Stop workers from going to a display whose item was picked up. Hey, Hunter. All right, we could still test this out. Let's try it. They shouldn't, if they don't have a target, they shouldn't find a target that has a held item. So let's at least see if that works. So we'll grant a bunch of items, and then we'll just click this one. And now, hopefully, they never pick that up. Let's speed up the game. They should get every item but that. I guess we can also set some cloning levels there. I mean, so far, so good. Yeah. Good. And if I were to, I can't put this down, right? Because I didn't code that yet. But if I could put it down, they would find it. So now what we need to do is stop a worker who has already selected one of these items from picking that item up. And do we have a way of doing this? Target item display component. If the target doesn't have an item, then transition to wander. Or if the target item is selected already. Also, this is a really dumb name. Or target item is selected. We know that this must exist at this point. No, not like that. This. Yeah, there. Okay, that should fix that. So now we'll just put down a couple of items. Whoops. The workers will immediately go to it. And then before they can get to it, we're going to click. And yeah, they didn't go to it. Nice. Now, if I grant another item, a worker's going to go over to that one. But I'm going to click it before they get there. And then they'll go for the sword instead. Nice. We can mess with them this way. Why can't I click that? Uh-oh, that's not good. Oh, I know why. Because I'm clicking the item that's on my mouse. And the reason why it didn't matter for the sword is because the sword has a diagonal graphic. Wow, that's very, very clever. I didn't even think about that. Player held item. There's an easy fix for that too. We just say displayed held item dot mouse filter. What's it called? Input? What? Oh my God. There's a way of doing this. I just don't know what it's called. Oh, there is no mouse filter for this? Oh, you have to... Wait, what? Input? Input. It's called input. Yeah, we need to make its clickable area not pickable. If true, it's pickable. Can detect mouse pointer and if mouse is inside, report import events. Yeah, so we just need to turn that off. So displayed held item dot set clickable false. All right. This needs to get the clickable area, which is there, which we'll just need to save off. And pickable equals V. Okay. To do rename this to is held. All right, just turn this off. Yeah. And we want to set this to not be clickable, which I think we already did. Yeah, good. Okay, I want to find one of those demon helm things. There we go. Now we should be able to click something else. Good, perfect. So I'm just going to keep clicking these. Eventually a worker will make it over here. Oh, which one? Which item are you going to get? Yeah. Oh, okay, they got it. But I could potentially stop them all from getting any other items by just clicking very rapidly over here. Yes. Oh, they got it. What am I coding in C# for? You mean like why not GD script? Because I've got the answer to that in this document. Yeah. Check out the document then there. If there's a why not GD script question. Okay, wow, well, that's working. So what is it? Stop workers from going to display whose item is picked up. Make sure you can't click an item that's being held by a worker. We technically never even coded that, so it's not a problem. When right-clicking while holding an item, drop the item. Make sure right-clicking a skill doesn't trigger this. Yeah, so right-clicking while holding an item. Only problem is I'm not sure how we're going to handle this. We need some, like the town to handle it, I guess. Is there an input method? It's unhandled input. I mean, I guess I want this. Is there a way to see if you right-clicked? Click mouse. Is mouse button pressed? Oh, there's an event. We could just check if the event is a mouse button. I don't remember. Input event mouse button. Is that right? Yes, it is. Okay. Do major game companies like Rockstar reach game developers, or is it the other way around? When you say reach game developers, you mean like find them to hire them? Because I'd say most of the time with most companies, whether game dev or not, it's candidates applying to the company. But there's certainly word of mouth. I just don't think that's the majority case for a lot of hires. For small companies, it's probably the majority of the time. Like if you got 5 people, you probably just found them yourself. Hey, Pressel. All right, I'm guessing this is not what we actually want to do here. We have a mouse button right somewhere. I don't know. I'm just going to search for input event mouse button. Yeah. Now, where do we use this? Does party member have the concept of left clicking? No. And we need to mark this as handled. Okay, so this is going to be right. And we're going to say player held item dot drop item. Yeah. Public drop item. So if the held item is equal to null, just return. Otherwise, set selected false. Set that to null. If that's not equal to null, yeah, cool. Yeah, this works. We're gonna need to clean up this code at some point. Watching from a hotel bed. What you doing? What you doing in a hotel? I've seen Blizzard job posts on LinkedIn. Yeah, I think if you are looking for a job, it's like you can't be probably too picky about how you're looking for it, unless it comes down to money. There's only so much you can advertise, I guess. I applied to Blizzard at one point in my life. This doesn't work. I can't right click. All right, so we can't put this here apparently. Or there's some other thing that needs to happen. Does it even register a right click? Did it hot reload? I don't think so. I don't know. Just click the button. Visiting capital city of my country, seeing friends, and there's an event here. Oh, cool. Sounds like a good weekend then. Yeah. I am working on picking up items in the game manually, but I can't get right click to work. I'm guessing this is not the place to do this. Problem is I don't know the place to do this. Yeah. I don't know. Godot detect left clicking the background, I guess. I don't know. It's not a collision object. I could add a collision object while also detecting background. Unhandled input on my root node. Yeah, that should be this, right? Unhandled input. Huh. Maybe, I don't know why this wouldn't be getting hit though. Maybe the town doesn't have like click events on it? Where is this script defined? It's town.cs. Is that here? No, it's here. Yeah. So is this not pickable? Shortcut. Like a mouse filter? Yeah, this. Filter pass. I never know what these are. I always have to open the documentation for it. Will receive mouse movement input events and mouse button input events if clicked on through GUI input. Mouse movement through GUI input. I don't want to use GUI input for this, but it sounds like we have to. So I move this to GUI input. And I just copy paste this. So we want it to be the right button. And then we take these things over there. Okay, let's try it. Changes were successfully applied. Does it work? I don't think so. I don't know when hot reloading works, even when it says it works. It's still not working. What am I doing wrong? It's set to pass right now. Clicked on through GUI input. And the control will receive mouse entered and mouse exited if it does not handle the event. Pause for signals of fire. Not propagate to further controls. I'm not sure what's going wrong here. Yeah, I think this should be set to pass. How about this? Let's change the cursor to the busy signal. And if we see the cursor change, then we at least know that we might need to restart the game. Then we at least know that this thing can handle mouse events. No, it hasn't changed. What am I supposed to do? Maybe this is because the camera is absorbing the events? I don't know. Huh. Needs nerfs? I think you can. I think you just need to be very creative about your party composition. Maybe not, though. Is there a good Godot textbook? I haven't looked for one, so I don't know. I made a course on Godot, but it was Godot 3 point something. It's on YouTube, and it's free. I guess you don't need to even go to my website. You could just type in Godot course. I don't know if that would help or if that's interesting to you at all. Yeah, here's the beginning of it. Seems like you're reverse engineering it because the documentation is weak. I think in this particular case, it's that my brain is kind of fried and I am just not totally sure what I'm supposed to do here. I'm probably capturing input somewhere else and not realizing it. Like, do we have unhandled input somewhere else and we're using a mouse event maybe? This is probably what's happening. This is for mouse motion is being handled, and that's if we were dragging. And if we moved the camera at all. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. This probably doesn't matter. Oh, Volcano 3. Yeah. That's probably not possible. I guess technically it's possible with just the rogue if you get very, very lucky. Because you could always have Cloak of Shadows up, and if you just dodge every single attack. But the odds of that happening are so slim that it's practically impossible. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. Huh. The GUI input thing, I guess, wouldn't ever work because I don't have a collider. We have mouse entered and mouse exited. Yeah, I'm not sure. You need the last three. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be doable. Yeah. You have to wait till checkpoint 3. Delaying the action. Is there no better way to do this? Input examples? Mouse event. Capturing mouse buttons is similar to key events. Global scope mouse button contains a list of mouse button constants. Should I have been using input this whole time? I don't think it's, I don't know. How is the camera detecting any of this? It just is a camera. We do all this in input and then unhandled input for the rest. I just don't see what's wrong about this. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, out of curiosity, what if I just copy pasted this code into camera? If event is mouse button, then delete this, delete this. This can probably handle right clicks. I can handle left click. The thing is, I don't want to put all my event listeners into the camera. This isn't related to the camera. Yeah, it's handling it. It might suggest that this isn't making it beyond the camera. Like maybe, where's our town camera? Yeah, here it is. We might have something set here that's stopping it. No, I can't tell. No, I don't think that's even possible, is it? What has stopped? Just GUI inputs do? What is different then? If I just copy paste this, I guess delete this code. If I copy paste this into here, I guess we already have unhandled input. Now, I don't think camera can be set to pass. That's at least what it looked like. Yeah, in fact, let's just get rid of all this stuff here. There. Okay, so now we know we have exactly what was working over in the camera. It must be that something is consuming this event, though. So it could be a different control that's not the camera. Yeah, because it's still not getting this. Okay, well, let's look through the tree. Maybe we can find something obvious. We have the town viewport. The camera is inside the town viewport. Does this have any like mouse stuff on it? Input stuff? Handle input locally? What does that do? If true, this viewport will mark incoming input events as handled by itself. If false, it's instead done by the first parent viewport. I don't know. I don't think it's that. This would be called mouse over here now. This is set to pass. This is set to pass. This is set to pass. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, strange. Maybe the UI is consuming it. I've run into problems like this before. Check the viewport in the main town scene. This one. Thing is, I don't really know what I'm doing wrong. I guess the times I've hit this in the past, it was always a control node. Yeah. Ran into the issue where my canvas layer was consuming clicks. I had a control under the canvas layer whose mouse filter I needed set to ignore. Okay. Let's just set some of these things to ignore, I guess. And then try playing it. Did that fix it? It did. Okay, fine. Whatever. This is why I'm glad I take notes. I've hit this problem enough times and this note has saved my life enough times. Well, now what we can finally do is we could call what I wanted to call here, which is drop item. Fantastic. So now we should be able to pick up items and drop items. Oh, now we can't scroll anymore. Oh, no. Oh, no. Why can't we? I guess I guess we do need this set to something different here. So it's either the camera works or the root node works, but not both. Can I change the cursor in the game? I could probably change the cursor, yeah. Oh, this is the worst. This is just the worst. I have it now set to what it was originally. So now the right-click handler won't work, but the camera will work. But now we can just change things on the fly over here. I could just go to remote and change town view to be ignore. The town view's been changed. We can still zoom, but we can't right click. Town scene. No, wait, container. Ignore. Now I can't right click and I can't drag the camera. That's strange. This is set to pass. What if we set it to stop? I still can't do anything. I do not know what's going wrong because the last time I set these things to ignore and everything worked fine. Hey, EJ. Yep. No idea. No idea. Maybe something else is consuming it though. Let's try the instances view. No, it's not that. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Out of curiosity, what if I just set ignore on every single one of these things? Actually, that one panel container had it set to stop. So does the scale tree. Those probably are important so they don't go beyond that container. I doubt any of what I'm changing right now is actually effective. No, it's not. And man. Okay, well, what if I change it in the local view? I guess I restart this. I'm sure there's a way to figure this out. I have some ideas for what I can do. I just don't think it should come down to what I'm thinking of doing. I think it should be something much easier. So now I can drag the camera, I can zoom in, I can't right click. And the things that I had done originally is I set this one to ignore, which if I save should just take effect in the game immediately. Close out of that. Yeah, so now the camera's not working. And I guess the town view is absorbing everything. So I set that to ignore as well. And then I think the right click thing should work, but it's not. Did I comment that out and I just forgot? Yeah, I did. Wow. Oh, I wasn't testing anything the whole time. Right click. There we go. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Great job. I mean, I haven't figured out the problem. All I did is realize that I'd left something out of the code. Yeah, so now right click is being shown. The camera is not working. So now I'm going to slowly set these things back to pass. Let's start with that one. Right click is working. The camera is still not working. If I set this to stop, what happens? The camera works, right click doesn't. Yeah, so this is what it comes down to right here. If I set this to pass, then the camera works. If I set it to ignore, then right click works, but I can't get both to work. In fact, I can spend half an hour in difficult fights just trying to optimize builds, even for options. You know, crucials, if you press escape, there's a provide feedback option. Although you did just type it here, that's fine. I can't press escape now. I can't get this to work. I guess both of these need to be set to pass. Are you kidding me? Well, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing. Green screen shadow in the corner. Is it whenever I show the game? Or is it the chair? I don't know. Top left. Oh, I see. When I move away, it has to readjust. Or probably when I move closer or something. It's just a stripe. Every once in a while, I don't have my camera zoomed properly. So if I zoom out here, you can usually see stuff like that. But I think I was zoomed in enough where that wasn't showing. is this a picture of? Oh, that always there. Oh, my bad. I fixed it with the zoom back in. Yeah, my bad. This can probably even go higher. All right, I don't know how to fix this. I'm gonna probably need to stop for now. Yeah, can't get right clicking the background to work. Oh, my head is pounding. Man, I've had a headache for like the last few hours. I don't know how it started. If I set the green controls in the editor to ignore, then right clicking works, but then the camera stops working. I need both to work. Wait until characters and spells, etc. are more finished. Yeah. Well, hey, Crucial, since you just played the game, here's some of the stuff I'm planning on tackling. I wonder how you feel about it. One is manually moving items around. So instead of having to wait for an adventurer or a worker to walk over, you could just click an item and put it in the shop yourself. So that's one thing. The other thing we already did, which I guess I'll put back on the list here, persistent life values. So when you win a battle or lose a battle, I guess it doesn't matter. I start a battle over here. So whatever life I end up with is the life I'm going to start the next battle with. So I'll speed this up slightly. So you can see I'm missing like a sliver of my life, now maybe like 20%. And now, yeah, my life regenerates back to full. And then I could start the battle again if I want. You could start even without having full life. Then having to actually build up your town and seeing some stats at the end of the battle. I think those are the major things. I have eaten, yeah. Probably only useful for the first few minutes. Might change if gold balance changes. Well, there's another change I didn't mention, which is adventurers are no longer going to restock your items. So it'll just be your one worker at first, and eventually you'll get more workers. But yeah, it was a little confusing for players that your adventurers would restock and then disappear, and they might be holding an item, and people thought it deleted the items, and it didn't, but it was confusing, and I think it's worth alleviating the confusion. I think I gotta go. Yeah, I'm gonna find someone to raid really fast. I gotta go lay down or something. It's too much. Okay, we're gonna host L:Q. A game engine like this should have a way to log events. Yeah, yeah. I think when I'm got a fresh set of eyes and I look at this, I think it'll be a little bit better. And thanks, Crucials, and thanks for playing in general. Well, I appreciate you all being here. I am going to get going. I'll be back on Monday. Next week should pretty much be entirely coding. So if you enjoyed today, you'll probably enjoy Monday. I'm going to go lay down. Bye, everybody. Enjoy L::Q.